Welcome to Car Talk with Matty J. Another Tuesday night, always more car-related topics. Tonight we're talking all things Supra. So it's the holy grail of Toyota cars, I guess in that aspect. If you're not counting the was it the GT? Just completely forgot what it's called now. The GT, not the GT 2000.
FT 2000?
No, the old supercar that was in James Bond. I've just completely got a mental blank what it's called. I speak about this car all the time and now I've completely forgotten. But anyway, I'm joined in the studio with Riz again from last week. What's going on?
Hey, good man, good. How you going?
Good to have you back. Alan?
What's up?
Mr. WRX, as he's known to his compatriots. And James from MS Movies. What's happening, dude?
Nothing much. How you going?
All good, mate. All good. Very well. Very tired. Being
work.
That school teacher life. Yeah, I've got to go to the city tomorrow to take the kids on a field trip.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, how fun's that?
You got a leash already?
I've got like the the
multiple.
I shouldn't say this, but like the sled dogs they got.
Yeah. Much. You don't have to drive to the city. You just get the students to.
I'm just getting fired if my boss sees that. No, they got like a city experience kind of thing. So they get to go and we're going through the alleyways of of Melbourne.
Is that like the discount source to see that occurred for us back in our day of high school?
Well, I mean, discount for day one, but then the other days like they go to like the MCG for like a proper tour and like they get to do some pretty cool stuff.
It's far better than what we did.
Dude, I rode a push bike to bloody city and that was it.
Yeah, me too.
That was the worst. I almost died.
I got flight cramps. Yeah.
Dude, everyone was like dying, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is like no one's enjoying this."
No, it was the worst. I hated it. School sucked. Stay in school, but school sucks. School sucks.
I thought you were going to add in drugs are bad, McKay.
Drugs are bad, McKay.
Yeah. So tonight we're talking all things Supra because obviously it's the industry's worst kept secret. The new Supra is coming out. It's supposedly going to be launched in Geneva's auto show next month.
Yeah, March 6th. So, yeah, it's finally happening. I mean, there's been some spy shots here and there of all in Germany. So, obviously, it's been, I believe, co-developed between BMW and Toyota.
That's the one.
So, I wonder how close it's going to be to the new Z4 versus, the old heritage that Toyota Supra had.
I mean, it's sorry, just getting back on that. The car was a 2000 GT. Anyway, I think the whole previous Supras a really interesting story because it wasn't really a sports car, even though it was kind of like a meh car until really the Mark IV happened, or Mark III, JZA 70, and then the JZA 80 happened, and everyone lost their minds with the 2JZ. But I don't think people give it as much credit for that car for how good it actually really was. People just think, 2JZ, that's all it was about. It wasn't. It was actually a really good car. It was a technical marvel piece, to be honest with you. And I think that's why Toyota. My interpretation is that Toyota hasn't brought the Supra back is because they didn't really want to kind of shit on the Supra name.
Yeah.
Because it was such a car that was kept in high regard, but I don't think respected as it should have been.
I mean, they've teased all these, I guess, prototypes over the last couple of years, but nothing's, sort of eventuated into anything. But obviously this car's been under development for a couple of years now, so spy shots last year, obviously going to be revealed in Geneva. We'll see if it looks and the performance are anywhere close to, I mean, it would be probably more than what the original Supra and the 2JZ had. Yeah. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I mean, estimated figures for the 3-litre turbo, I think it was about 250 kilowatts, which is not really a lot in performance car terms these days, but apparently it's still getting an under 5 second 0 to 100. But I mean, it's co-engineered with BMW, as previously mentioned. It's going to be running a BMW 6, and BMW are known for their 6-cylinder engines.
Yeah.
So that's something that they do get right quite well. And I don't know if you guys have been in a late model BMW with a 6-cylinder turbo, they are bloody quick cars.
Yeah. Last 6-cylinder car that I drove was a 435.
Ah, yes.
They had, and I've never driven a BMW before that, and it was just a demo at the dealership, which I said I was going to buy, but I didn't.
Hey, It's still driving it.
Exactly, just like the Tesla.
Yeah.
But no, it was it blew my mind. Like it's so engaging.
Yeah.
It's so engaging. It sort of reminded me of my mate when he first bought his 180 SX many years ago. You know, when we were still on a P plates, and that was like the most engaging car.
Full drift spec, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No. P plates.
P plates.
Can't do anything with that. Cop bait. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's this one with if it's got a straight 6 engine in it, it'll hammer.
I'm sure it will go good. Long live the straight sixes, I say, because they are the most balanced engine that you can buy.
It's interesting you say that, because at uni I did mechanical engineering, and they were trying to teach us about engine balancing and all that.
Well,
and they
V12
said,
would be the same.
Straight 6, definitely.
Yeah.
The most balanced engine, dynamically and statically balanced engine.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Ford's been using them for how long?
A million years.
You know, and they're good. Like, you know, they're good. Like, you know, you've got even the BA, BFs, FGs, all running 6 cylinders with,
dual overhead cams, turbo.
Exactly. And look at what the F6 does.
Yeah. So I mean, they are a quick car, and they're kind of held in the same regard as being that engine in particular, as like, you know, 2J and, dare I say it, RB, even though the RB people are going to probably hate me and flick off the show. But yeah, just because they make good power and quite reliably too. But this is not a show about Fords. This is a show about the Supra, because it is the most hotly anticipated car, I reckon, of the last 10 years. Because everyone's wanted the Supra to come back. Ever since You Owe Me a 10-second car. Basically, everyone's wanted a Supra to come back, and I think having the Supra back would probably make Toyota's sporting cars return, because I mean they've got nothing now. They've lost the MR2.
Oh, 86. I mean, I know.
Okay, 86. Yes, I'll agree with you there.
I know 86 is not your standard, typical sort of sports car. That
it looks like a sports car, at least.
Yeah, but you know why they've done it, and this has been my theory, and I don't think I've sort of touched on this in the past, but my theory has been they've looked at the global market and they've said, who wants these cars? Generally, it's younger people, and they don't want to put a turbocharger and all these extra R&D into a car, which younger people won't be able to afford. And the other thing they had was, it's 150 kilowatts or whatever it was, 147. But they've had that car in that way because I guess young people can buy it.
Yeah.
But then on the back of that, they know that a lot of the markets, especially in the Western world, have P-plate restrictions or similar restrictions, power to weight restrictions. So in order for them to sell, they've got to keep it under that. If anybody wants to modify it, that was what made the Japanese car industry sort of really flourish, right? Because you didn't have to get a proper R32 GTR.
Yeah.
You could get a standard R32 and do what you wanted to do to it.
Yeah.
And that was the intent. Obviously, there's not a lot of space in the 86 or the BRZ, so the only thing you could fit was a tiny supercharger that will give you an extra 2 kilowatts.
But at the end of
$10,000.
$10,000. But no, look. You're totally right on that, race, because 95% of the 86 you see got a P-plate hanging off the back of them. And don't get me wrong, I've been in one. They're a really good car. They're really nice to drive, really agile. If you get a good set of tyres, not the Prius spec ones they come with, they're actually they actually handle very, very well. But it's not a car that's kind of like a flagship. And the Supra was always that for Toyota. Supra was always flagship, for Toyota, because this is back when they had the MR2. The MR2 was more of like, your cup rise, your mid-engine, like mini supercar. But the Supra was, the big GT car, big engine, big power. They handled well, and for years it was their most expensive car in terms of what you got. Like, I mean, they've had it obviously in Japan. Was there'd be a lot more expensive versions, but in terms of performance, that was the big hero. So for them to not bring it back, it's kind of a shame. But they have to. Well, it is coming back, and I know Toyota for years has wanted a Supra. Yeah. So this is going to be the one. Look, we're going to come back right after this. We're going to go to a song.
Matt, before the break, can I say one thing?
You sure can, James.
Because for the last couple of episodes, we've been talking about Tesla.
Yeah.
And last week, I think Elon Musk launched his personal Tesla Roadster into space. So I just thought we should mention that on the show because he's testing his new, because he owns SpaceX as well, and he's testing the new Falcon Heavy, which is their delivery system into orbit for cargo and stuff. And the payload is usually like lead weights. But he's like, oh, we can just launch my car because it's like 2 tons or whatever. Like you were saying, the Tesla's heavy. So they just strapped it on the front of the rocket and sent it into space. And now it's floating around in space. I think it's on its way to Mars. The trajectory is on its way to Mars.
What?
And it's a red Tesla Roadster on the top of a rocket, like a shuttle, floating through space with a spacesuit. That's made to look like it's driving the car, like a dummy of a spacesuit sitting in the car, and apparently it's constantly blaring "Life on Mars" by David Bowie.
Wow.
Even though you can't hear it in space, it's like they've somehow rigged it so it's playing that song.
But it's just quickly, isn't it? Aren't they streaming it live?
Yeah,
aren't they streaming it live
thing
on YouTube?
Yeah, you can
serious?
actually go now and watch the live stream of it floating through space.
You cannot.
With the Earth in the background, like floating
Exactly.
around.
No, seriously. But
I'll show you. Hang on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll show you during the break, so it's not dead air. But yeah, I think they called it the Starman. And yeah,
Is it coming back?
No, it's just going to float out there and for forever until maybe
Is that your
one day.
secret plan to start Rainbow Road?
Well, if anyone's going to do that, Elon Musk is going to do that.
He is the king of PR.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people think about him, he can't talk properly, but he's the king of PR.
King PR.
I mean, like we said, Tesla's got the right idea. SpaceX has got the right idea. So Elon Musk's a bit of a nut, but he's got the right idea. He's the only person who's doing this really interesting stuff.
Holy crap, there it is. Watching on Riz's phone there. What the hell? That's
just floating out in space. It's like a guy, like I said, astronaut. Well, it looks like an astronaut driving a space car.
Just casually. Look,
That's awesome.
I can't believe it. We're gonna go to a quick break. We'll be right back after this. More energy.
Down. Up. Down.
That was Luke Million with Arnold.
This is Arnold.
Your instructor. It's always a good tune to get you in the mood for the gym. I know when I hit the gym, I play that song every single time. It's as lame as it sounds, but it's
You need the energy.
you need that energy, and who else is going to tell you more than Arnold? Back on Supras. So obviously everyone wanted a Supra. I still want a Supra. I don't know about you
I
guys.
still want a Supra.
Yeah.
If I could get an immaculate one, I'll
Only
get
if
one.
it's orange and has decals on the side.
with the handprint.
There's that one here that's there's a guy, I don't know if this is Turbo or not, but he usually comes to a lot of car meets and anything related to Paul Walker.
Is it in Roxy?
It might be.
I've seen that because I've seen that car. It's orange. It looks exactly like it.
And the owner was complaining about how everyone eggs him on for a drag race, and he's upset at that. I'm like, really?
You're driving.
You drive that car and say you're upset because people want a drag race.
Dude, if I ever put up next to it, I'd actually say to him, what's the retail on one of those?
More than you can afford, pal. Supra.
Look, the Supra story kind of was a really funny story. I don't know if you guys know the proper full Supra story, but basically it started off as the Celica Supra. So it was like the upper class Celica, and it was pretty much a little bit longer, bigger engine. So like that to obviously make the 6-cylinder fit. But then it kept Celica, Supra, and then eventually when the Celica went to front-wheel drive, they split the model range, so Supra became its own model. And then we got standalone Supra. The Mark III was a big step up. It was more of a luxury car than it was a performance car. And when they brought it the Mark IV, it kind of blew everyone away. The good thing about the Supra was that it was always kind of attainable.
Yeah.
And you had supercar killing performance for essentially luxury car, well, not even luxury car money, just like decent. Theoretically, you're paying $60,000 back in the day for a turbo, for a turbo Supra. So with that, you got traction control. You got really cool interior, which was pretty out there for the time. I know during the break we're talking about this race. The cockpit especially was always faced to the driver. The later one's got the 6-speed get drag manual, which is pretty much indestructible, which is a really, really good gearbox. But it had stats to its name that not many people talked about. Like, for example, it could outbrake I believe it was an F40 from the and Corvette ZR1, like some really high-end hypercars back in the day, which to be honest, blew a lot of people away. Like, holy crap, this is a Toyota doing this. I can't remember if it was Motor Week. It was one of those old reviews that they had the brakeless times and stuff, and it was beating Ferraris and stuff. While it had the gentleman's agreement in Japan, America got the full hog. They got it was like over 300 horsepower. For back in the early 90s, that was a lot of power.
Yeah.
So this was a car that was super futuristic, and like that. Well, we're looking at a picture of the interior now. Really, I mean, it's typical Toyota black and grey. But
what year was the first Supra?
93 for that model, I think it was.
92, I think.
92.
92, yeah.
92.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
Because that was based off the Sora.
It was.
And, like, that was my realistic car. Supra was like a dream car on my piece, but Sora was a more realistic car.
Yeah.
And I guess wasn't even like, I even wanted the Lexus Sora because that was going to be another V8 that ran.
4-litre V8, which the one you said was a good engine too.
Yeah. So, but no, it's just unachievable. Still is.
I mean, just want to talk about the Supra unachievable now, because Supra pricing in the last year and a half has, in Australia, tripled. It's insane. People want it for an Aerotop automatic turbo. These cars, I kid you not, used to be 12 grand here.
They were, yeah.
People are wanting to sell them for 60, 70 grand for an automatic. Manual ones, they're charging even more now. I'm like, I think this has only happened because America can import out Supras now, because they got their 25-year rule, and they're pretty much all out of Supras because they've all been crashed and all been modified to hell.
Yeah.
So to find a really clean original turbo is our if you can get one, you can. This is like, out of all the cars I could buy at the moment, if I had the cash, I would buy a Supra just for an investment, because they are going absolutely ham. They're going more ham than I think 33 GTRs.
Do you think Fast and Furious has a lot to do with that?
It does. I mean, back in I was speaking to a good friend of the show, Dave, and he lives in America. Big ups to Dave. Listens to the show. Big hello to you. He was telling me Supras have been pushing over 100 grand for a few years now to find a clean Supra, and he's like, this is just an old Toyota. But this was at a time when Toyota were over-engineering crazily. Like their cars were like the best cars you could buy.
Yeah.
And of that vintage, I don't think there was a better car like built and over-engineered than Toyotas. I mean, if you look still today, I'll give you two cars: the Toyota Supra Mark IV and the Lexus LS400. You'll still see a lot of them on the road, immaculate condition today, reliable as hell. Only a few problems, and they'll be doing 200, 300, 400,000 Ks, especially on the one you said, the Lexus. So these are cars that were so over-engineered, they just worked, and I think that's why people really like them. And then when people really unearthed the dark little secret that the 2JZ had, which was incredible power on stock internals, it kind of went from there.
Yeah, because I mean, there were a whole lot of them. People were using them for drag race and everything. I mean, as in actual drag strips.
Yeah, they are.
So like it was insane. Like you'd see the car with obviously the bonnet right up, like it was about to take off. Like and that was a pretty common sort of drag racing sort of enthusiast mobile.
It is.
So that just goes to show what that particular car was capable of. Obviously, the Toyota engineers were not going to say that. They had the restrictions, like you said, 206 kilowatts or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And in the States, they pushed more. And interestingly, on a side note, Evo's pushed a whole lot more in the UK, where you could get different versions of them.
You can get like the FQ400, 400 horsepower out of a factory-backed,
exactly,
warranted.
But we
car.
didn't get that here, did we?
No, we didn't.
No. Yeah.
But as saying that as well, with a Supra, you could get sub 8-second Supras, still with a full interior. So you're driving that car around town and on the drag strip,
and
embarrassing everyone. So it's just amazing. Like it still does deserve its hype and pricing, I feel.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. But I think in the realm of GDR versus Supra, because Supra never really had the racing pedigree. Like it did have racing pedigree, but it wasn't as successful as GDR. I think that's what really like hurt the Supra back. People that know Supras, one will only know it from me. Like there's two types of Supra people. One that likes Supras because of Fast and Furious. Okay, I'm one of those people.
Like me.
Yeah. But two of the people who actually appreciate the Supra.
Also Initial D.
Initial D, it rocked up in probably a couple of episodes.
Yeah, not
Really?
many.
It's like fourth stage.
Yeah,
fourth
fourth
stage.
stage, and it didn't really do.
Beaten by an RX-7.
It was.
Yeah.
Maybe
but-
I'm thinking of the RX-7.
Yeah, the RX-7 I feel owes quite a bit.
That
to
was
it.
that was
That was
the
one of the
obviously
main cars.
the 8.6 is the
that's the main car,
The
but
main
the
car.
the Red Sun is the RX-7.
RX-7.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll shut
no,
up.
but even Supra, it did make an appearance, and it was good. But I think in that series, the Nissan GDRs sort of played a bigger role because they kept surfacing, and the R34 GDR that they had in Stage 4 was awesome.
Yeah.
Like the old guy that just kept yelling out. I can't even remember what he was yelling out.
weird.
Godfoot, I think his name was
Yeah,
Godfoot.
you know that
It's
was
like,
just- yeah, that's right. It was really, really interesting. But so Supra's obviously and you guys probably won't believe me, but I've never seen any Fast and Furious movies.
Really?
And I've never. No, I'm serious.
We have to rectify that.
No, I haven't. And I sort of. Because to me, I have I'm the second type of person that you said who really appreciates Supra.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was just like that car was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's 60 grand, 70 grand, that's just and then I guess we'll probably touch on how that relates to some of the newer cars for that price range.
Exactly right. I mean, I was going to get to that in a little bit because essentially you're paying close to 100 grand for what's a 25-year-old car. And you're and with 25-year-old cars, they're not a spring chicken anymore. While the aftermarket's huge for Supra, I know Titan Motorsports will ship you out within 24 hours. 1,000 horsepower.
So you can get overnight pass from Japan.
from America.
From America, yeah.
From America.
Okay. Jesse was halfway right.
You can essentially, be good. But
stuff, yeah.
I think the biggest issue with the Supra though is image, because the internet says you have to have 1,000 horsepower Supra, and if you don't have 1,000 horsepower Supra, your car's crap.
Yeah.
And it's not a real Supra. Yes, 1,000 horsepower is a lot and it would be freaking awesome to have, but as a street car, it'd suck. It'd be terrible to drive. Like, lag, 6 grand, boost, 2 grand, and you're out of boost in the next gear essentially. It'd suck as a street car. That's why Supras with mild mods that are done right. I think I was watching a video with Matt Farah, and he did the 700 horsepower Titan Motorsport Supra, just the house Supra, and he's like 700 horsepower was the right number for it. It had a good decent sized turbo, nothing too crazy. And it was ridiculously fast. But he even said that 1,000 horsepower Supra suck. So don't believe the internet, everything the internet says, because the internet will make you think that these cars are crap without 1,000 horsepower. They're not. They're awesome.
Once again, as you said, the 1,000 is not necessary. I had a family friend who, wealthy gentleman, his daily is a Maserati Gran Turismo. One of his let's say pet cars was a single turbo Supra.
Yeah.
And he tuned it, I believe it was close to around 400 kilowatts at the wheels.
Wow, yeah.
And he flipped that.
Wow, okay.
luckily he had a cage, but he flipped that car. So it's
Holy crap.
you don't need the 1,000 horsepower. The car's happy to already kill you.
Yeah.
If you're not careful. And at least while he owned it, before he flipped it, while he flipped it, it was quite fun, as he told me. Fortunately, I never had a chance to go on that car.
Yes. Yeah.
Possibly, fortunately.
Fortunately, in that aspect too. I just think that with that whole bad boy image, these cars suck unless you've got 1,000 horsepower, or if you don't have 1,000 horsepower Supra, it's not a real Supra.
What's the point of having 1,000 horsepower if you're not going to use it? And you can't use it.
Where are you going to use it, James? By the time you're on boost in a Supra, before you hit even 6,000 RPM, before the massive turbo the size of my head would spool, you're already over the speed limit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting you say that, James, because you look at what's happening today. M5, and we were talking about this earlier, the new M5, they've had to go to an all-wheel drive system.
It's too much power.
Because it's too much power, and that's 440 kilowatts or whatever. And you look at 1,000 horsepower, obviously you're not going to convert your Supra into an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive or whatever. But yeah, that's it's just you can't do anything with it. Spin the wheels.
Okay, I totally get 1,000 horsepower drag car Supras. Yeah, that if you build for that purpose, by all means. But for a street car, it's pointless. And I think that really affected people that bought Supras because they all had to be modified. 95. If you go on car sales now, I guarantee you, every single one of those Supras will be modified.
I had
Every
a quick
single
look.
one.
They are.
The only problem is a lot of them are modified to what I'd call leb spec.
Well, no, look. A few years ago, I was looking at Supras. This is before I got my laser. I wanted either a SW20 MR2 or a Toyota Supra. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get a turbo Supra because I can't. I was on my P, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get like a NA. All of them are trash. And like people still wanting 12 grand for the worst body kits. Like the body kits were falling off these cars. They still wanted like 12 grand for an automatic, full sex spec candy paint, like Supra. I'm just like,
the interior I saw one was candy red. I wanted to stab the person.
Well, I swear to God, it's only been driven to the church on Sunday. My grandma drives it, bro.
Ask the owner. That is the reason why Supras get a bad name. And look, not everyone that speaks like that
I know.
treats their Supras bad. But it's the people
But
that...
99% of you do. You know who you are.
I swear to God, if you saw it at the kebab shop, it wasn't that car.
It wasn't that same car, I swear. Jeez.
And the only reason they're selling it most of the time is like it's their third impound that they're up against, so no one's going to get crushed, and they're like, better get rid of it.
Or it's been absolutely thrashed, which is another one. But yeah, look, honestly, they're a really, really good car, but you can't find original ones anymore. You can find original GDRs, you can find original. I mean they're slightly getting lower, but it's very, very rare. And when one comes up, they get snapped like that. Like honestly, they are the quickest cars to sell on the market because, well, a non-molested brand new suit, like essentially time capsule Supra, was the kind of best Supra. Like I don't mind a couple of tickle mods to wake them up a little bit, but anything over the top is they just kind of ruin them. And I think that's why the people that own these cars that are immaculate know how much they're worth and know they can get 100 grand for it. Whereas a couple of years ago, this was just like, oh well, you've got a clean Supra. Now there are no clean Supras. So
we should start a business where we just take the Supras back. We bring your Supra in and we, de-leb it.
D6 spec.
What's that makeover show that really
Pimp My Ride?
bad? No. The UK one where it's like they get someone who's really insanely over, too much makeup, too much piercings, and they make them look normal. Do you know? It's a really
I
stupid,
recall
one of
that
those
show.
stupid reality shows.
I recall
But
that.
yeah, you should do it like that with Supra. It's like, we'll take off all the crap, all the
We'll
body
just
kit,
do a
and all that.
reverse Pimp My Ride. We just come in with all the crappy mods.
Deep my ride.
And we just sit down at the table and be like, look, we're going to take out the interior, take out these blue silicone pipes and stuff, just
Make
bring
it
it
Guys,
down.
just having a quick look, I think we may have some hope.
We may have some hope.
So, back in the day when I was looking at Supras, I was thinking about importing one.
Yeah.
And I ran into this website called JSpec.
Yeah.
And that was about 8 or 10 years ago. And their website looks exactly the same today as it does, not mobile friendly or nothing. But having a look at that, recently sold Supras, 2002 Supra RZS, 51,000 Ks, condition / grade 4, no idea what that means.
Grade 4 is usually the best, yeah.
57,700 landed and complianced,
It's not too
which
bad.
is not bad. I mean, I know we're talking that territory now, but we're talking 2002. But then
That was one of the
94,
last ones, yeah.
94 Supra SZ auto. The other one was in manual.
Turbo or
I think that's standard.
SZs, I think were NA, I believe.
12,900.
Yeah.
94.
But
But
yeah,
yeah.
paying for a lebbed up one here, and you'll be paying at least 12 for it as well. So just get it
For
in
an NA, you'd be paying, if around that money. But I just think,
Stop molesting your cars.
look, I don't mind modding. Yeah, modding's great. But to an extent, for example, the perfect Supra in my eyes was
The one from Fast and Furious.
7. No, 7.
Oh, the white
Yeah.
one?
The white one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Nice set of wheels,
Yeah.
clean, like very. It's
Understated.
understated.
Yeah.
That was actually Paul Walker's real car.
Yeah.
Single today, that's nice. I'm just looking at the Supra he's showing us. Was
Yeah.
that the one for 57?
No, this one was sold for 41,100. That's a 99 manual.
Is this a USD or?
That'd be Australian.
Oh, okay.
I'd say it's jspec.com.au.
Yeah.
But yeah, that grave was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good. You barely see him in that color too. But yeah, like a nice set of wheels. Decent tune
Yeah.
here and there. Love it.
The wing isn't gigantic or.
Just a clean Supra.
Yeah.
Clean Supra. With as I said, I don't mind an exhaust because they sound awesome with an exhaust. I don't mind an intake. I don't mind like. Okay.
You need a cannon and 20-inch chromies.
Oh man, all day.
An open diff so you can't get over. You know.
Go get road quarters. No, honestly, please save the Supra. But this is going to come to the next big issue with the Supra. So for that money, you can buy a brand new car that'll outperform it in every single way. Yeah. You know,
it's not a Supra.
But it's not a Supra. Yeah, I get that. And don't get me wrong. If I had the choice of a Focus RS or a Supra, I would still go with Supra because I love them, and I've grown up with the Supra. Yeah. I think we all have grown up with the Supra, and I reckon it's
the legacy factor as well, not just
100%.
Yeah. And just a quick question on that because we're comparing the old ones. Are there any hints on the pricing of the new Supra?
Not yet.
Because if we were looking at the 86 in Australian prices, you're looking at around 35 or more, depending on what specifications you want.
35 for a GT and a GTS is a bit more.
Yeah, so above 35 from that point. So what kind of pricing territory would they be looking at for the Toyota?
I'd be saying 60 plus for the 6-cylinder.
I would be saying close to 100, and the reason why, because of the Z4. If you compare the Z4 to that,
yeah, good point. I didn't even think of that.
Then that would be close to 100 grand, and that would be a bargain Z4 money because Z4s, I don't know, I can't remember the exact figure, but the inline sixes are more.
Yeah, they are.
So if they're going to badge it as a Toyota, then okay, I wouldn't say 100, but I'll probably go to 80.
Well,
but it depends.
For the 6-cylinder or for the 4? Because I think for the 6, you'd be looking at 60 to 80 is the range they're going to price it.
Yeah.
And I'd say the 4-cylinder would probably be about 10 grand less.
And then you look at what this car will be competing against, the Stinger.
Exactly right for that money, and I know which one I'd take.
Yeah.
And apparently it's coming automatic only. So that's a big kicker.
That's so we're buying a Mustang. You're already at that range. Just buy a Mustang, put some mods in it.
Mate, you can put a GT.
Hit a crowd, you know.
But if it's just a toy thing, if it's something that you really liked and stuff, does it have to be a turbocharged one? Can you get a standard manual for, let's say, 25 grand straight out of Japan? If you can, then that's worth it.
Oh yeah, and you can still get a second-hand twin turbo engine and drop it in. GT made up. But look, we're going to go to another break because it is break time. We'll continue this right after this. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. We've got to get you to watch the first Fast and Furious. As corny as it is,
all right.
It's if you just watch that one, okay, it was made for
the best one.
Yeah, so I didn't flick your mic back on. It's the best one. It was the one made for its time. Okay, the cars look super riced out in today's climate, but if you think of it back then, it was like it's the jam.
And never watch Tokyo Drift because I said so.
No, skip that one.
Never.
You can skip.
It's
that.
important to the story. I swear, like 5 minutes at the end.
Han is the best character. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So we were talking during the break. Theoretically, we could save ourselves 60 grand if they go for 80 and buy a non-turbo manual from Japan, import it. Landed here, you're probably looking at 27, 25. Get the GTE swap, get it in there. Obviously, do all the work around it. It's easy swap apparently. It's not that hard. And then you've got essentially not a genuine twin turbo Supra, but you've still got a super turbo. Yeah. So I reckon that'd be the way to go for. But now with this new sports car that they're bringing, with the new Supra, this is my big issue with it. For that money, you can get a lot better car. You're going to get more than 250 kilowatts. I reckon it's going to be more than that. It can't be 250 kilowatts and be doing low 4-second 0 times to 100 unless it's been geared that way. But for that money, you're competing with the range at the moment, hyper hatches, so your RSs, your Golf Rs, your Civic Type Rs, which surprisingly the Focus RS, if it's got 250 kilowatts, will have more power than it. You'll be also competing with I guess cars on the second-hand market still you'd be competing with, and I don't see it selling well if it's going to be in that price range. But again, it's going to have to be if it's going to be Z4. It's essentially the Toyota Z4.
Yeah, and if obviously given you pay 30 grand on any BMW for the badge anyway, then if they're going to price it like that, then I guess 60 to 80 would be acceptable. But then, like you said, Matty, I mean, if you get to a stage where you're paying 60 to 80 for that. 80 grand, you're probably going to get an RS3, 85 grand? RS3?
Yeah, you can pick up one.
An RS3. Yeah. And that, I mean, the new one, I think the current generation is...
You probably get one a couple of years old for that.
I don't think they're that expensive. I think
they're
the
over
RS3s
100.
are they? Okay. Well, the current generation one is 294 kilowatts.
That's a lot of power.
5-cylinder,
Yeah.
right? And then obviously, and apparently the A45 AMG engine is stressed because it sounds stressed.
Yeah.
But then this one is not stressed. So if that's the case,
If you want tuning-
that's where you're competing against.
Yeah.
A European full-fledged sports car. I can't remember the exact figures. It's under 4 seconds.
They're quick cars.
You can get a C63, a used one, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean that's probably like the bargain at the moment, like a couple-year-old. But then again, you're facing that couple-year-old German reliability, which I won't go into on this show. But having said
Make
that,
sure
that
you work-
noise,
Just make sure you work at a dealership.
be good, getting good with someone at a Mercedes dealership. I just don't know. I just don't know. And I've seen leaked pictures of the Supra, like without the covering on it, and I reckon it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But a couple of letdowns for me. What made the original Supra so good? It was always available as a manual, and this one's only going to be available as a 10-speed auto. Obviously, it was a kind of a raw, visceral car. Even though it was a big heavy GT car, it was still a driver's car. And I think that's what made people really enjoy it. This, I just don't know with the 10-speed. Like, as good as new automatics are, and don't get me wrong, they're awesome. It's going to be missing that X factor, which made the Supra so good. And if this is just going to be like an automatic Z4, then you may as well buy a Z4
And that's where the GT86 really kicks ass.
for 30 grand.
For
I mean, come
30,
on.
35 grand, like you can get it in manual.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter the power it produces, it's the level of engagement you get when you're driving it. Yes, it's small, but then for 30, 35 grand, you're not going to get anything better than that.
No. And if you go to a track day, I guarantee you'll see 4, 5, 6 of them there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we tracked the guy in the bay next to us, James, he had one, and he was
There was a lot there.
he was hammering like nuts off it.
Yeah.
And he, coming back, no issue at all. So I just think that if this car's to be a success, it needs to. Okay, look, the Kia Stinging here is only available as an automatic too,
Yeah, that's right.
but it's a luxury sedan.
yeah.
It's a sports sedan. I mean, the C63s are only automatic. I guess you kind of get used to it, but it was essentially inverted commas sports car. I was speaking to was it Paul Marriage or
Paul Marrick.
Yeah, Marrick, and he's like to me. I asked him, what do you look for? He's like, I really love a manual gearbox.
Yeah.
He's like, I know they're gonna die out, but I really, really love a manual gearbox. And he's like, it makes for me driving that much more interesting, and being deprived of that in a proper sports car, it'll suck. I mean, Porsches have still got manuals, even though they're kind of shifting to PDK now, but essentially they've still kept the manual there.
There is a manual there, and I think that's a 7-speed manual.
Oh yeah, true.
That's a 7-speed manual, and I don't know if the newest one have got that, but I know last couple of years they've tried the 7-speed, which is nearly as much gears as the Fast and Furious Supra, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least with the manual you can shift as many times as he does in the movie.
Speaking of that, if you listen to the scene when he races the Ferrari, he shifts 7 times.
Yeah.
7 times.
Up, down. He was following Arnie's advice.
He
Just keep shifting, doesn't matter.
He actually had the newest Corvette gearbox in there.
Ah, yes.
7 speeds.
Yes, and it's
Sprint from the future.
Mate, the Chevy engineers really worked their magic on that car. But yeah, honestly, I just think it's going to be interesting when it comes out. I can't wait to see it come out. I'm going to go to a showroom and see it because Supra. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'll probably be there day one. As soon as I get, I'll be like, I want to have a look at this car. I want to see it. I want to sit in it. Again because Supra. But
We'll wear suits and take like doctored, what do you call them, ATM slips that show $1 million bank accounts. To be like, yes.
Nah, I don't think that's required, Matty. Or you just know the big Riz, and the big Riz
Mate.
will make sure that pre-launch will get you there.
mate,
Can I tag along?
he's going to have it. All right, done.
Of course.
I just think, for this to be a success, it needs to be priced right. And I mean, look at Mustang. Mustang's priced. I mean, Mustang's a cheap car, and it's cheaper in the States, but it's priced right here. It's and in Europe, it's the best-selling sports car because they've priced it right. Now,
Crowds love it.
yes, crowds love it. But if they want to be in that price range, okay, it's got an engine out of BMW. Is it really going to be? Should it really be 30 grand more, or 20 grand more than a GT Mustang with a lot more power? with a manual gearbox.
Yeah.
You know, should it be worth that?
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Like, you know, I mean, it's been a long time coming. Whether they're gonna recoup all their R&D costs for fluffing around like they have for the last 10 years now?
Yeah,
Well,
more.
10? No,
More.
15. 2002
Two was the last one.
Yeah, so 15 years, nearly 16 years now. And I don't know if they were building up the hype, but so is Mazda. Mazda have been talking about an RX-9 for how long? And that's not happening. That's what their engineers have definitely said it's not happening.
Well, see, I heard they came out the other couple of weeks and said, "Oh yeah, they put a patent for a new rotary," but I don't know if it's going to be legit.
Well, by the time they talk about developing that, we'll be driving, electric Mazdas.
Yeah, yeah, and see, Mazda's another one. They got rid of the MPS program.
Yeah.
And the MPS was a great cars.
But what they're bringing back, though, and I think next year now, they've got this high compression engines
Yes,
coming out, and they would
sparkless too.
Yeah, that's right, because of the pressure that they obviously create within them.
I just think there's more to go wrong. I mean, like,
Yeah, I know. And the thing is that somebody's got to try new technologies, and they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So if they do it, maybe that's an potential MPS range coming out.
that, and I don't know, Nissan or Infiniti is coming out with the they got like two pistons, so it's like variable pistons, so you can get more compression.
Oh, right.
It's weird. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But what I am going to get into is quiz time, because we haven't done the car quiz in a few weeks. So, Rizman, it is your time to be in the hot seat for the car quiz. It's 10 questions. I don't know if you've heard the car quiz before.
Yeah, I've heard the car. Yeah.
So it's usually Alan copying these questions, or James, or or the other James.
Yeah, other than not me.
Or Reese K, my brother, a few other people out there, they copy the questions. But because you're the newie to the show,
Awesome.
we're going to do the famous CarTorque car quiz, which is not really that famous, but it's famous in this studio. So we'll get to that. Let me get my music happening. There we go. Dramatic music now. Question 1. True or false? The current Hyundai i30 range comes out... Oh, sorry, I've just got a message covering my phone. Lovely. The true or false? The current Hyundai i30 range comes with IRS only.
False.
Correct. They come with both torsion bar rear end and IRS. Question 2. Who makes the ATS-V?
What's that?
You can pass and come back to it.
Okay, I'll pass.
Question 3.
It's Cadillac. No.
Jeez, there we go. Question 3. The new BMW M4 GTS, roughly in hundreds, has how much power? Horsepower.
Oh, horsepower.
Yep.
M4 GTS.
M4 GTS, yeah.
I think it's close to 290 kilowatts. So you're probably looking at 450.
450 to 500, I'll take that. Yeah. Question 4. The original NSX had how many cylinders?
6.
It was a 6-cylinder. Question 5. True or false? The first Holden Astra was an Opel base that was sold in Australia.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
True.
That is true. It was sold as a Nissan originally. Question 6. The Kia Stinger comes in a twin-turbo V6. What other engine does it come with?
It's a 4-cylinder. 2.4 liter?
It's a 2-litre, but I'll give you it. It's a
Yeah.
2-litre turbo.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question 7. Adaptive cruise control does what?
Follows a car in front of you and maintains a distance
Yeah.
while you're on the freeway or whatever.
Yeah, and also allows you to slow down and stuff. Jeez, killing it. Question 8. Radwood is a car show held for cars from which period?
I know the Goodwin Motor Show, but Redwood. 60s? 70s?
Nah, from the 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s.
Question 9. Sorry, completely lost. The new Ford Mustang to be released in late 2018 is destined to have how many gears in its automatic transmission?
10?
It is 10. Question 10. True or false? The BMW BMW offered the E46 M3 as a coupe only.
Jeez, I'm trying to think which one was E46.
The early 2000s one.
Early 2000s. True.
False. They offered it as a convertible as well.
Where? Ah, right. I was thinking of the. Yeah,
okay.
I get you. No, go
Oh,
on. Yeah, cool. No, that's my bad. That's my bad. I forgot about the convertible.
So, question 2: Who makes the ATS-V? I think Alan kind of gave that one away.
I forgot. There's one American brand.
It's Cadillac, yeah. So
I only had that from because it sounded very familiar to the CTSV.
I remember the CT. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So the ATS-V is an
Came in
all.
clutch.
Now I remember ATS. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the ATS-V is an all-drive V6 turbo. Cadillac. It's like the mid. It's like the small. The one you want to get, but if you don't want to get the CTS.
Yeah, but the CTS wasn't that a competitor to like a 3 Series or something?
Yeah, well, I think three or
Yeah.
it was because it's like, well, the ATS-V is kind of, I don't know, it fits in that bit like a smaller range maybe.
Yeah.
It's like more Mondeo size.
Oh, right.
I'm not too sure. But yeah, the CTS-V was a good car. But
We
yeah,
never got it here, did we?
we never got it
Yeah.
here. I've seen a few CTSs on the road here
Yeah.
though. Converted ones. They're really cool looking car. Really don't really look like a Cadillac, put it that
Yeah.
way. But yeah,
Caddy.
8 out of 10 race, not bad. Not bad
tried.
at all.
I tried.
That's a good first effort.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Usually people get 5.
5 or 6.
Feel
so,
good.
so it's that's not too bad at all, to be honest. That's
Awesome.
It's a really, really good effort. So look, we'll finish up tonight. Toyota does good cars, and they've always kind of done good cars. But every so often they come out with a car that blows everybody away. I mean, the LFA is like one of my. It is my dream car. Out of any car, if I could have any car tomorrow, I'd have an LFA.
SLS. Just get an SLS.
Black Series, you're gonna get a Black Series SLS.
So as long as it's got the gull-wing doors, I'm happy.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, an LFA, just because it's that V10 is just magical. But like, they bring out cars like the Supra, obviously the MR2, stuff that's really, really interesting. They've been in a bit of a lull until the GT86, and it is a good car, but I keep forgetting about it for obvious reason because
It's not as exciting as the Supra or anything else that they've sort of released.
it isn't.
In that sports car range.
Yeah, and when Toyota do something big and proper, they tend to do it well. Now the LC500 is another car
Yes.
that I really, really like. Okay, the infotainment system's rubbish, but it's a car that it's the last of the naturally aspirated V8s. It is a special car.
Very special.
And as a Toyota knows how to make a special car, but then they also know how to make a pretty boring car too. But I'm just hoping that this car, because Toyotas are always attainable for people, it needs to be I'm asking Toyota to do 3 things with it: make it attainable, make it like the original Supra was attainable, make it besides being attainable, make it reliable. I know they've worked extensively well with BMW. You got to keep the Toyota reliability about it because it's a Toyota.
Exactly.
And 3, make it a proper enthusiast car.
Yeah.
And I know it's been spent time at the Nürburgring, it's been spied in all this area, but if it's just coming out, and these are just rumours, it's just to be an automatic only, it better be a damn good auto.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of going to let down on the legacy of the Supra.
And it's something we touched on last week, the i30N. I believe it's coming in a manual
Only.
to begin with.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think there's an auto in the making. I don't know if they're going to use the SRD.
Dual clutch?
Dual clutch, not DSG. That's Volkswagen. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to use that. But i30N is coming in manual only. So if that's anything to go with, and I know that's a hot hatch and GDI equivalent and stuff, love for Toyota to have a manual option.
Yeah. I mean, they're very tight-lipped. This has been the most tight-lipped project, but it's been the most, industry's worst-kept secret. So, it's the worst-kept secret is in the fact that everyone knows it's happening, but it's the biggest tight-lipped one, as in no one knows exact figures and exactly what it's coming with. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited, but I just hope it covers those 3 bases. I don't know about you, Alan.
I'm definitely excited, but the one thing that worries me the most is probably going to be price.
Yeah. Again, attainable. Toyota needs to make it attainable.
I'm not paying 100 grand for a Toyota.
Yeah. I mean, but having said that, people paid over 200 grand for a W1 Commodore. So
Yeah, that's right. And then I guess if you're getting close to that sort of money, then a second-hand GDR.
yeah,
R35.
R35. Yeah, exactly right. Look, we're out of time. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. Like and share our Facebook page, CarTorque, TORQUE with Matty J. Give James show a plug. It's Man vs Movies.
Yep, 6 p.m. every Tuesday, 98.9 Northwest FM. You can like and share the Man vs Movies Facebook page, and you can find the podcast on iTunes, Shout Engine, or on your regular podcasting app.
Cool. You can find us on Shout Engine as well. If you can't get that, the link's on our Facebook page. We're also on iTunes. So or wherever you look for or listen to your podcasts. So thank you again, guys, for coming in.
So it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matty.
And I'll see you guys same time next week, 7 p.m. In the meantime, this has been CarTorque with Matty J. Take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And
it's front wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD.